Alright, hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Behind the Development. This is my kind of take on a monthly update, giving insight into what we're currently working on, what's coming in this update, and what is going to be for the future. This is going to be timestamped, so if you want to look at specific features, you can go down to the comments and click on it. It should also show in the YouTube search bar. I'm not sure if that's only a desktop thing or if it's also on mobile, I'm not entirely sure. But it will work. So you can use that to then jump to the bits that you want to find out about, or if you already know bits about it, you can skip it. The first part of this episode will be essentially a welcome, what this is going to be, as I've already told you, and kind of an update into why we're doing this, and then we'll go on to the features. So, like I said, Behind Development is meant to be a catch-up on basically what's coming in this month, what's being worked on for next month, so on and so forth. I'm doing this kind of a little bit for myself because I wanted to create more content for the YouTube channel. We have it, we don't really use it. So essentially the idea is that we're going to use that to try and push what's coming, and also not only features but things that aren't talked about in the roadmap or haven't been talked about in the past. A few things like that I'll get onto shortly. But also events. This is where they'll be announced well before they happen. And you'll be finding out about our next one and one that's coming in the very far future in this video. So let's get into it. So, feature 1, this is my favorite feature of the patch, specialists. You are going to be able to specialize in a specific role, and the intentions of this is that you can then get bonuses for that role that help you do that. So, what different roles do we have? Well, there will be a list somewhere here, I think. If I've done my editing right, there'll be a list here. Otherwise, there's a few that I'll mention just now. So, the one that I'm going to talk about is the air-to-air specialist. Essentially, the idea is that you excel at killing other fighters. You will be able to get more points per fighter kill. You basically, you can get shop rivals now cheaper for you if they're against air-to-air, or if they're for air-to-air specialists. For example, you're buying in like fighter support or anything like that, it's cheaper for you compared to the standard player. However, there are downsides for you. You get less points per ground kill. You'll gain less XP for ground kill. All that stuff decreases. Your buyables that are for air to ground, so say you're wanting to buy something that attacks a ground force, it's going to be more expensive. That kind of stuff is all linked into your specialty. Now, why don't I just swap specialties? I kill all the air units, I'll swap into a ground one and start ground pounding. Specialists are locked to you for 48 hours. Real world time. So if you're wanting to experiment, try on a weekend, by the time you get back to next weekend playing games again, that specialist will be unlocked from you and you can choose a different one. Each of them have their upsides and downsides. You are able to see that in the game by going to the menus and looking at them. Again, it should have appeared on the screen beforehand so you can see that. As my intention is to go a screenshot from the game just to show you guys. And then you can use that to basically choose kind of which way you want to go. And I would, whilst it's not impossible, the downsides aren't that bad. About the worst one is an 80% decrease in things like transport and stuff like that. You'll still earn points, you'll still be able to capture things, you're not going to lose a whole section of gameplay. It's just going to be a little less rewarding, is the idea. So, that's specialists. The idea is that this will expand. Currently, I think I have 5 specialists. I will think that if I'm wrong. But I intend to increase the amount of specialties that you can pick up and use, and that'll come as we progress. Alright, next thing, Warehouse T3. What is Warehouse T3? For those of you who don't even know, what is the warehouse system? Well, the warehouse system was introduced about 2 months ago, I think, where it allowed us to basically influence stock levels in real time according to like error stuff. What era you were playing in Cold War, Modern War, what kind of munitions each team has, so on and so forth. That was the idea behind the warehouse system. And then that kind of created a split. We had the aircraft restrictor, which did the same thing, but only for aircraft, and then we have the warehouse system, which does all the munitions, fuel, all that stuff separately. So, with T2, we brought the aircraft restrictor in, and we added in rarity. So rarity is basically our way of being able to take missions and go, okay, well, In Modern War, you know, the M120C is everywhere. You can get it, sorry, the Phoenix is everywhere. You can get it no matter what. It's always going to be at full supply, pretty much, because they're an old weapon. There were tons of them. But you're playing in Cold War. There weren't a lot of Phoenixes around at the time. Some of them didn't even exist. So, the ones that didn't exist, they don't show up anymore. They're out of stock. You can't get them because they didn't exist at the time. The other ones, for example, we've got the Phoenix Mark 47, I think. They did exist, but there weren't many of them. So rarity was a simple switch I could flick on for a different munitions and stuff, and say, hey, listen, this here, it's rare, but it's, you know, you just don't have as many of it. And it was always going to be a blanket 20%. You'd have 20% of the normal stock levels, rounded to the nearest 2. So that way you're not carrying, you don't have 15 Phoenixes that you're always going to have 1 left over. It didn't really make sense that way. So now you're able to, sorry, my camera's turned off and I don't like not being able to see myself because it makes it hard to figure out where I'm standing. Sorry. Yeah, so that basically was the rarity system. With T3, not much has changed for you guys. A lot of it was a lot of performance fixes, bug fixes, bringing in new things that came in. With the F100D, we've got now, for me, I can pull the warehouse or at least one warehouse from every server to basically go, okay, well, this new update added in all these weapons, all these planes, all this other stuff. I can now go grab that and basically bring it in the London system much easier for me. So a lot of the changes for T3 were mainly me. What has changed for you guys, and will be changed a lot more over the next few months, is rarity has been given essentially a slider. I can make something 10% rare, which, you know, you're gonna have 10% of stock levels. I can make it 100% or 0% rare or 90% rare, which sounds a little counterintuitive. 10% being, you know, 10% of the stock levels instead of 90% being 10%. But it was just easier for me to go, okay, well, I want something to, instead of being 100 or something, it's 10, I slide it down to 10. It's not an actual slider, figuratively slider. So, that's the rarity upgrade for you guys. It'll allow me to do a lot more balancing and get things a lot better in terms of being able to keep things even over time. The final new feature, kind of split into 2 features on the roadmap, but it is one full feature, is the new mission archetypes. Missions have changed a little bit as well with this update. But the new mission archetypes, you've got Caesar, which you've known about, I put it on the thing, but we had a lot more that I got working, so we're gonna shove it in and give it a try. Caesar, rescue. You're going in, you're in your helicopter, you can pick up pilots that have been downed, or you can basically create a down pilot. Don't team kill, not saying team kill. That you go and pick them up, bring them back for rewards and points. And with this, to allow people to kind of choose what they want to do more so with missions, the missions system has changed slightly. Everything still works the same. You've got story and instance. Story is pertaining to the actual game. An actual pilot's been shot down, so you need to rescue that actual pilot. But instance, still the same. It'll create a downed pilot, just randomly generate one, and you can go save them. With rescue missions, I should also say, you are against the clock. You're not just going and picking them up. There is ground forces moving towards them when you pick up a rescue mission, so it's gonna be difficult. Just something to keep in mind. All right, so what's the change with missions? A little bit sidetracked, but what's the change with missions? Well, you can now choose your mission archetype. Before, it was randomly generated for you, and with the War Commander's auto assign, which you can turn off in your War Commander settings, for anyone who didn't know, yes, it will randomly assign you one, but with the new one, it actually allows you to go into a slide and go, okay, well, I want a rescue archetype, or I want a strike archetype. It allows you to choose, and it will generate you a mission based on that archetype. We have a lot more archetypes in as well. For example, hot drops, we've got strike, we've got escort. There's a couple of new ones. Not all of them have been fully vigorously tested as much as I'd like, but they are extra and they are sort of working, so I've put them in there for you guys to try. I'm going to go over hot drops a little bit because it's my second favorite mission archetype out of this. Well, it's actually my favorite because it's my favorite one, but I say second favorite because I didn't announce it. So, what is hot drops? Well, hot drops is the new mission archetype. There aren't many rewards. You only get a little bit of favors. You still get, I'd say, a normal amount of XP. Every mission archetype has a different XP. But hot drops is essentially the reverse. Instead of picking up a downed pilot and bringing them back to your base, you're picking up some infantry and delivering them within range of another enemy base. That's just cool in my opinion. We have been testing it, or I have been testing it slightly. It's hit and miss sometimes with the Chinook. The Chinook has basically real life loading. You basically pick up the mission, the infantry will come in and actually get in your Chinook. You have to lower your ramp for them. If that doesn't work, the normal one works where they'll come up to your aircraft, you then go load infantrymen, and then basically fly them over and drop them off within range and unload them, and that gives you your XP. The reason why it's not many rewards is because you get a free group that will go and attack that base. Yeah, they won't do a lot because they're infantry against sometimes really powerful bases, but it gives you something. So you'll still get a little bit of favors, you won't get any team credits, you'll get a decent amount of XP. You're just not doing that. And the reason why I say this is because you should probably do this in a group. Like, get 2 or 3 people in helicopters, pick up a mission, go drop them off at that airbase, and then boom, done. Hot drops isn't only ever going to be only missions. You'll be able to buy a hot drop, which you can then go drop on yourself at any base of your choosing. But for now, it is missions only, just while we're testing the feature. So, that's Mission Archetypes, and I didn't go over every single one. I only went over 2, but it's expanding, it's getting bigger, and we're working on expanding what you can do in the game a whole lot more, and making your quality of life, where you can actually choose what you want to do rather than just getting randomly assigned and hoping for the best, better. Because before, when there's only 2 mission archetypes, it wasn't that big of a deal. You just either go and attack this base, or you go and kill this thing. It wasn't that bad. Now that we've got a lot more differences, escorting a plane from base A to base B, you're going to hot drop some teams in, you're going to go rescue a pilot, that changes a lot of what you want to do. So this is the kind of, even the playing field, let people choose what they want to do. That is the end of our set features. Next, I'm going to go into what's being worked on and what I aim to get in for next month's update. All right, next month's update. So with next month's update, we're aiming to get 2-way communication in. It has begun work. It is in testing. I know it says it's planned. Well, it is planned still, and there's only a little bit of work being done on it so far, but my goal for next month is to get 2-way communication in. What is 2-way communication? Well, it allows you to be able to talk between the World Commander website and the game, and allows you to do a couple different things with it. For example, you will be able to set out missions on the website, plan missions, put in waypoints, set what you kind of want to be bringing, stuff like that on the website. It'll all work, you can see it, and basically plan out with 3 or 4 of your mates, drawing on a map to go, okay, well, I want to go do this. 2-way communication then allows you to go, okay, well, for us to do that, we have to go this way, get that way, do all that. You'll be able to see those lines pop up in your game when you send the communication over, or you'll see the waypoints pop in that you popped in. That is the goal with 2-way communication, is to be able to bridge the gap between the two, allow you to plan something on the website and do it in the game. It also then brings in the virtual AWACS, where if players can't join in game, say they're away on holidays, whatever, but you still want to talk and get their help, you can point them to the website and then can become a virtual AWACS. They can see everything that's going on. They can give you directions to go fight someone else. That's the idea of virtual AWACS. They can see more, they can send you communications, they can send things to your text box in the game. That's the idea of it. It's kind of similar to a lot of the ATC things people see online, but it's a little more integrated with our software, or with World Commander. So that's the idea of it. What else? Well, not coming, it is in this roadmap for this month. It will not be coming this month, more so likely end of this month, early next month. Persistence V2. What? How do you get a second version of Persistence? Well, it's going back to our kind of Zone Commander days, which was built by DexZeb, and I love them for what they're able to do and push DCS for me. But when I started hitting the limits of what I wanted to work on and I couldn't get it to work between the two, we ended up splitting off, going to World Commander. It's our own base code. We're working on it internally here, getting it to what we need to be, and I'm not afraid to make changes because I know kind of how everything works. Like, I may forget some things over time, but I know where to bounce to go look, figure out, and it's all in one file rather than split across 8. like my old one was between statistics and brass it, and all those were different fast. Now they're all in one, working together, working with a common performance system that allows them to kind of schedule their stuff out so they're not fighting against one another. And that's the idea of World Commander. But, sorry, a little tangent, but back to Zone Commander. With Persistence Zone Commander, I won't lie, theirs was a lot better. When you killed units and it saved and then the server refreshed, it reloaded back the units that were gone, like they were dead, they were still dead now. And that's the idea with Persistence V2. It's creating that save state. When it reloads, it goes, okay, well, this is all the same, but this unit wasn't alive, this unit wasn't alive, this unit wasn't alive, and it despawns them, so that way you're not stressing about it. We're gonna do it a bit differently. We still aim to keep load times within 10 seconds for initial load, and kind of space it out over the 10 to 20 seconds after mission load to get rid of those units that were already dead. It's an add-on to Persistence V1, so it's actually already working in this patch. It's collecting the data it needs, and essentially the idea is that when we hit basically go time, when it's performant, when it's working the way I want it to work, I flip a switch, it turns on, and then it starts setting itself off on everything else. And you guys will probably only get a Discord notification about Persistence V2 is live, it's working. And the intention is to keep it that way, so that way we can kind of keep things moving along, and for next month's update, work on two-way communication. So that's the two features that are being actively worked on. There's more that you can see on the roadmap. I recommend checking it out. The roadmap just had a big update to better align itself with our new updating scheme. Before, we used to just work on things, plug it in, boom, the server now has that feature. No, now we're working on monthly updates to be able to get all the features in line, working together, so no server falls behind. And that is the intention, at least. Over time, you'll see a lot of servers come and go. I'm working on bringing back possibly Afghanistan. I'm working on improving other servers, other maps that I have, like South Atlanta and Kola. Maybe bringing them on for a month or two, seeing how they go, and doing some maybe World War II maps. Who knows? There's going to be a lot of trial and error. There's going to be a lot of testing. If you run into any bugs, please report the bugs on the World Commander website. It makes things so much easier for me because it actually goes and says, hey, this is when it was published. I can then go pull the logs from roughly when it was done and see, okay, well, this is the player, this is when they joined, this is when they left, this is the errors that happened while they were on there. And it allows me to better be able to go, okay, well, this is what actually errored out. I have to go fix that. I am trying to cut down on bugs as much as I can. About 75% of my time is spent on new features. The extra 25 is fixing bugs from old features and getting things more performant. And I hope to see that happen. A lot of that is happening in the background already. POI's V2, you guys didn't even know about it. I'm just dropping it now. It's basically an update from V1, but it's a lot less buggy. It's meant to fix a lot of the recurrent issues we keep having with V1, with basically a whole new start to it. That's just being worked on over time, and eventually we'll get to the point now where V2 is better or complete, and V1 can just be basically discontinued, shoved off, coded out, deleted even. So that way everything runs on V2 and it all works just fine. Anyway, that's my update from me. I thank you guys for listening to me blab on for probably 10 minutes. I hope to be able to cut this down a lot better. If there's anything you want me to cover in the next video, please let me know. If there's some things you want me to change, please let me know in the comments. I want to try and keep this up once a month to give you guys basically a heads up of what's coming and what will be in the future after the next update. And I almost forgot, events. We'll cut over to the upcoming events now. Just quickly for you guys, what events are coming? Well, starting late next month, early August, we'll be working on a Rulers of the Skies V2 event. Same as Rulers of the Skies, it won't be called that way, I'm just calling it V2 for now. But it's going to be a lot more different tasks you can do to gain points in categories. The categories will be a little bit mixed up, a little different. But instead of running for 1 month, we're going to run it for 3. Why? Well, the idea is we want to try and boost players in getting ready up for our Christmas event. I'm not going to say too much about that right now, but we're going to want a pretty big player count for that. So how are we going to do this? Well, running for 3 months, we're going to try and get more players on recurrently to try and get more points in. There will be a bigger prize pool over time, and we aim to do that bigger prize pool by getting in sponsorships. How are we going to do that? Well, not so much people sponsoring me. We may do one or two to help cover costs over time, but more so us sponsoring other content creators, saying, hey, listen, content creator A, come film a video for us. Any people who subscribe to our thing or who donate on the donation page to help keep the servers alive, running, and use your essentially creator code, you'll get 35% of the profits off that. And my hope is that we can probably get 3 or 4 well-known creators in here. I'm hopefully looking for Australians, but anyone who is willing to help out with this project, I would love the help. But I hope that it can then bring more players towards us, because we've got a big expense coming up. We got to buy a new CPU for the server. It's going to be $600, but you're going to see almost double the performance we see right now. And to me, that's worth it. But we do need to get it to that point where we can actually afford that. So this is to basically help do that. We can then get everyone on, ready for end of year event, and run it then. So yeah, essentially there's that, and we're gonna try and boost player counts over the time, get more players onto the servers, and get people interested in the project, because honestly, I want to see us bloom. I want to see us get bigger than the other Australian servers out there. I want to see us get bigger because it's not only great for me, it's great for you guys. You get to meet more friends, you get to play on more lively servers. The servers are built currently to basically last up to 80 players at a time, but because we don't have those 80 players at a time, it's not as chaotic as I would hope. We end up buffeting it a lot with AI, that extra flyers and stuff going around, but the code's in there. When we get more players, the AI dwindle off to almost none. If no one's, doing edit ground, some may spawn and do some edit ground, or you'll still have some random stuff happen. But AI isn't meant to be the end goal. We're meant to have, I want to have no aircraft AI flying around at a time, unless it's a bomber, of course. I want basically players filling in those roles, so we don't need them, but we just need to get bigger for that. And I'm gonna try my best to get us bigger. So that's all from me. I hope to see you guys on tonight when the update releases. This is being recorded at 4 o'clock in the Arvo. I aim to have this update up by 8 p.m. And I hope this video is up by 6:37. So, that's the goal. I'm gonna go edit this now. I apologize for the lack of B-roll. There will be more of it in the future update, in the future video of Behind the Development. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, it helps me, and commenting, giving me feedback, it's great. Thank you guys so much for this. Have a great day. I'll see you all flying later.